Alright, y'all.
Cool.
Looks like we're waiting for 2 more.
Yep. Can you hear me fine?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. I'm driving home right now, so. Got the headphones in, just want to make sure it works.
Indeed.
By the way, was my description good enough for me to level up?
Yeah, that's fine. I'm mostly just gonna
Okay.
like pan. I don't have a large description ready for everybody's stuff. I'm just gonna like. I have another handout that I'm just gonna read, so you can see what's going on. So it's mostly gonna be like a cursory glance over like this person's doing that person's doing this, and like cinematically.
Me and Edmonds are kind of bound in some ways. We're just genociding, so.
Yeah, he's piggybacking a little bit.
I mean, literally, like, my god tells me to go and kill stuff that is a threat to humanity, and I feel like the UNT are definitely a threat to humanity, so Artor is pretty interested in making sure that none of them survive.
The humanity of the people of Sudan.
Well, yeah. But also, like, if they were to take over this area, they would probably expand further and further. We don't know their goals.
Perhaps.
But also, Thor is not about Nordvinland. He's about humanity in general. No other races, but the humans in all places.
Yeah.
Artor is not that simple mind, or Artor is not that narrow-minded, but Thor is.
How?
Well, what in the heck? Jared.
And Jen, but yeah, mostly Jared. Okay, well, yeah, Jen's here. Now it's just Jared.
2 motherfucking
Hopefully they
minutes
get that
late.
Central Time.
I should just read the thing without him here. I should just start. Aha! There he is.
Me dumb.
So, I was going
Yeah.
to get together, but I decided against it because I ran out of time. I rushed to finish this document because I thought I had a few more weeks.
Yeah.
So it's only like 2.5 pages.
Double space.
You just say yikes.
I heard
yeah,
that.
double spaced.
Oh, okay.
That's
Oh,
like,
Jesus.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
yeah.
Like blah blah blah. I'm Rick. I won't remember any of the names anyway.
Yeah.
They call me Rickless.
Like, I'm surprised Rick went a month. I wouldn't be surprised if going back into the campaign, Rick did not remember anything about what happened before. Like,
Who's Ibmund? Why do I hear Ibmund?
Who's that guy? My brother. What? I have a brother with that shitty of a name. Crazy. Are you nuts? No, I remember just fine.
also, it's not Ibmund, it's Ebmund. It's an E.
That's definitely worse.
Yeah, it is much worse.
Yes.
Like, infinitely worse. So, oh, shit. So, who has inspiration right now? Jasmine and Edmund. The other two don't.
Yes.
So, we'll finish your things at some point.
Rigged, you just didn't want us having inspiration.
Wait, I had what now?
That was the thing. Oh, did you end up ever using your inspiration before? I thought we were trying
Probably.
to. Yeah, you did. Because we were trying to be like, dude, why don't you use your inspiration to potentially not die?
And I died anyway.
You died anyway.
Oh.
But to be fair, like, might have been able to use it. But anyway. Anyway.
Don't cheat up once.
Alright.
Well, I cheated it twice, but whatever.
Let me just get us in the mood here.
I'm glad the knight is still part of the party. Most
True.
vital character. He's
I
such
love
an
Knight.
He has such an interesting backstory.
I love Knight.
He's the new.
Knights are warriors who pledge service to rulers, religious orders, and noble causes.
Oh jeez, I had music volume way too low for that fucking
Yeah.
energetic track.
I'm just
you're finding the one
sampling
you like.
here. Yeah, I'm just sampling here. These are all I like these.
I hate it.
I can't hear it, so.
I need to
I like the
remember
Desert
which
City.
which fighter martial archetype I wanted.
Was it Arabian? Or was it Arabian Nights?
Which fighter archetype? Oh, what'd you take
Yeah.
a level in fighter?
I took 2 levels in fighter already, and now I'm taking a 3rd one at my level 8.
Wow. Oh, what, you doing 3 and 3? Or 5 and 3?
530.
Yeah, so you
I'm
get the
essentially
extra
taking
attack.
I'm essentially taking 3 levels in fighter, and then I'm just going probably the rest barbarian. I'm not entirely sure.
Nice. Okay.
BT Dubs, Dylan.
I mostly took the fighter level to get 2 weapon fighter.
Nice. All right.
Just for my
What'd you
dual
say?
wielding.
What'd you say, Rick?
I need some flying animals now.
Yeah.
I'm a full-blown druid now, so
Yeah,
flying shit. Honestly, I only need need 2. Just a giant eagle and the bloodhawk.
I wish I was a giant eagle.
Yeah. I mean, you won't need them right now anyway.
No. Just
But in the
whenever
future.
you get a chance.
Yeah.
Those are the only 2 I want. So you don't have to do a whole list of.
A whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Y'all ready?
Yes, sir.
No.
Only been waiting forever.
Twigs.
Let me make sure. You good, Jen?
Oh yeah, sorry, I have a bunch of irons in the fire right now.
What?
Is that what they call it these days?
Yeah, you know.
Well, congratulations. All right.
Oh, was that a pregnancy joke?
Perhaps. So, let us begin. Some of this is slight recap, the first paragraph, so bear with me. A figure bursts forth from the shadows, eviscerating Eushalus the Den-Father in a final moment of adrenaline and desperation. Breath, the gurgling half-corpse of the Yuan-Ti master, seizes and convulses violently until falling still. Surviving and evolving led to a dimly twitching mound of flesh marinating in a pool of its own ichor. The den has been taken, and the prey have become the predator. Smoke is seen billowing out of the main chamber as it floods into the earthen tunnels, bringing with it the sickly sweet aromas of charcoal and cooked flesh. As the remaining Yuan-Ti are sent fleeing into the swamps of Sud, the prisoners, now free, collect their dead and weep bitter tears of relief. Hours of meandering through underground tunnels brings promise of light, and the party stands awestruck as the sun crests just beyond the tree line. Embers of summer daylight dance across a cloudless sea of orange and violet. The calmness of that moment seemed as if the world had continued on, no more meaningful than the lackadaisical effort of a summer's end day. Last they are greeted with freedom, a brief time of ecstasy to mask the cost of such a moment. In the scattered ruins north of Nusha, a service for the fallen takes place. Atop a large burning pyre, a shield emblazoned with the Kiswatu symbol illuminates the once dark swamps of Sud. The survivors replenish themselves from the generous stores brought from Meidwan, many submitting finally to their exhaustion. Food, drink, and companionship saturate the night, and the people of Sud share in a bond, the likes of which will never be known by the rest of the world. harsh and grating, each settled sound of the swamp pounding its call against the inside of the skull, even more so harshly for those awoken by the gleaming of armament. A rally is led by the party and remaining princemen, and so a force of volunteers is led to retake Maidwan. Simultaneously, in the not-so-distant northwest, a man makes a desperate grab for a barrel and rolls over the riverbank, plucked from it like sand to the wind. An arrow catches him between the ribs, and a streak of crimson stains the El Hayat. Jasper clenches his teeth and holds on for dear life, locked in a struggle to stay afloat as he watches a sea of dirty faces fade into the horizon. The sounds of distant taunts, curses, and cheers are submerged by the sound of rushing water and the scraping of the barrels banding against rock. Moments later, a force charges over cracked mud and dry earth, crashing into the unsuspecting Yuan-Ti. The heat of the summer's end brings with it the smell of hot carnage, copper on the air and tongue, the sour taste of metal. Roars of victory and the screams of those who have lost everything echo through the riverfront, and as quickly as they appeared, the Yuan-Ti are no more. Scans anxiously across groupings of men and women, whipped up in a frenzy of emotion. She spots a glimmer adjacent to a large circular indentation in the clay. She holds to her face a snake brooch, carved from jade, as her eyes trace first the outline of a barrel, and the drag marks leading down the riverbank. She drives her fist into the soft clay and looks longingly off over the El Hayat, which spans infinitely southward beyond the horizon. The makeshift waypoint of crates and nets is disassembled, and at long last, life is restored to the desert. Somewhere far in the distance, a curse is shouted as a fist batters angrily against a wooden desk. Useless! And a letter is thrown into the brazier. Easy, cousin. The snakes have done their part. A dark-skinned woman with black silken hair stands beside a man hunched over the glowing brazier. The Talons still continue to ravage trade by foot, and besides, the damage has already been done. The rest of the council will look on Amir and see it as ruled by an idle prince. A smile creeps its way over the face illuminated by fire. Not a prince, a greedy child. The man rises from over the brazier, rubbing idly at his left shoulder. He dusts off the brightly colored silk shirt and turns to the woman. How do I look? I must be no less than perfect for our friend, Prince Tahusha. The woman reaches up to adjust slightly the symbol of Lathander that hangs proudly from the man's neck. No less than perfect, Ragba. The two close the door behind them, leaving nothing but the smoldering remains of a letter in the brazier. And so, the Council of Barons meet in Maad, a change of arrangements hastily made. All see the state Maad is in, and rumor begins to circulate, questioning the motives and authority of the prince. Upon reaching Maad, Jasmine witnesses a grand entourage, boasting colors from all across Izalam. Her gaze lands on the royal gold and azure of her home, and for a brief moment she locks eyes with a man she knows of, Ragba Lagmani, Baron of Habadur. As Maad begins to recover, so too do the heroes. A grand festival is held in honor of those brave peoples who fought against all odds and overcame the snake creatures of Sud. Desperate to keep his image and power, the prince summons hands from a select few of those he trusts, as well as a hired hand from the Arcanum. The other baronies are beginning to move, and Amir must hold its ground in the shifting sands. And with that, you kind of see, like, as the camera pans like across the country, it circles like in Sud. You see Edmund and those who have survived from his family essentially hunting down the rest of the snake peoples that have fled throughout the swamps, just smoking out their tunnels, things like that. You see Artur that's also helping them. He's just kind of stalking some of them from like another side as a few run out, and he like chops them at the neck. It's very violent, and you see like a smile creep over his face as he's like slaughtering the rest of these people. you see Jasmine as she's, looking throughout Maidwan and then traveling downriver, stopping at various points along the river on her way to Mod, and essentially looking for any signs of Jasper. You finally see in like this very proper kind of room. It's a very small room. I'll let you explain your character, actually. For some reason,
Excellent.
Drawing a blank. Jared.
Yeah, I am Jared, but I am playing Tarek al-Ramali, a half-elven. Well, he bears the. We're in the throne room, yeah, or reception.
You're still like, this is just panning to you like at the Arcanum, like in a very small room, like your room.
Okay.
At the Arcanum.
Mm-hmm. A cozy quarters and a half elven man, completely hairless, seemingly scoured by the desert itself. Brown eyes, unremarkable as they lazily dart across a scroll. It's most likely a map of wherever he's being shipped off to next, as he is a traveler, a negotiator, and an enforcer. As the Arcanum is wont to do, they bundle roles in curious ways.
And as you sit overlooking your scroll, there's a knock on the door. And as your mentor comes in, come with me.
Did I ever give you a name?
No, you didn't. That's fine. We have another task for you. Come. And you're led out. And as that happens, it kind of like the camera pans back out. You see Jasmine again in the city of Mod, and she's like desperately looking for signs. She's like going through the slums, and it's like a little montage of her like talking to various people and like hands shaken with like these really shady looking people, and her skulking about. And then it zooms back over to Edmund, who is, you see, with one of the elders that managed to survive. He is actually getting some formal training, and with that, his mother kind of puts her hand on his shoulder and like lets out a large smile, and it pans out again, and it goes over to Artur, who is seemingly clashing with like, it looks like a hologram almost, a person like made out of light, and in like this one sweeping motion of the camera, he cuts through the image, and it dissipates, and it kind of sucks in within himself, and he just stands there kind of like just dripping with sweat. After this brief span of time where you're all kind of doing your own things, messages are sent to each one of you, and you are summoned to the courts of Mod. Where we pick up is essentially you guys there. So everybody is in a familiar kind of court with the, gosh, I'm trying to remember what you call it, but the vizier. Yeah. So where you met the vizier before, and
Vizier people.
the last person to come in is, again, I don't remember your name yet. We'll have to change your name in Roll20, so I can reference
I was
it.
gonna say I have it. Tarek over Mali.
But as you step in the room and you see this kind of motley crew of peoples, and with that the vizier welcomes you and gestures towards the others. I'm glad you could make it. Please, take a seat.
Your Majesty, you are too kind. Please, allow me. And I, very, very graciously bow deeply before sitting.
Like in a sign of not to be disrespectful, but he kind of like waves his hand like a, like pish posh kind of. He says, "Thank you. There's no need. We have business to discuss. First of all of a sudden he's Russian. First of all,
I love it.
for some reason now I can't stop being Russian.
The same thing happened to me yesterday, where I did an NPC's voice, and then for the rest of the night I could not stop defaulting to that one voice. God damn it! This person's not this person.
So anyway, he continues, and yes, we have business to discuss. You are all probably wondering why I called you here. I am Russian. Oh man, I don't know why.
This guy is not from around here. Whatever the
Well,
equivalent of
stuck on
Russia
that
is.
accent, Dylan?
Yeah, for whatever reason. I stopped for a second. I'm like, okay. I grabbed my bearings. I'm like, alright. And as soon as I started again, it just like morphed back into that. I'm like, whatever. Fuck it. So, anyway. Yeah. I'm gonna try it again. He says, you're probably wondering why I have brought you here. And to that, he begins walking around and looks at each one of you. First off, I would like to thank you again for all that you've done for Mod and the people here. And he bows very low to you all. And at that point, he says, as you know, we face hard times. First, I am no longer Russian. Second, he begins to let you know how bad things have gotten between the other baronies, and has essentially said that given everything you've done so far for the prince, that he would like for you to meet with the prince and go over essentially some top secret things. He has some tasks that he wants you guys to take care of.
Edmund's gonna ask. It
Gotta get
is.
our voices ready.
Yeah, I gotta remember what Edmund sounded like. It has always been the thought of mine that someone with power was supplying the UNT.
Nods.
Has that been confirmed to be one of the baronies, or multiple of the baronies?
That is what we would like you to find out.
I would like to find out as well. That destroyed my home. People I was supposed to protect. That had to be paid back in blood.
Yes, this has been an object of our curiosity for a long time now.
Now I just want to break out some crazy accents. Oh, hey there, heroes! Howdy doody there.
What?
Shoot it with fire.
And Edmund suddenly, his genocidal tendencies start to show when he hears that voice.
Like, oh shit. given
Where
your
am
expertise
I?
and a handsome reward, I would hope you would say yes to this.
100%.
You will also know you're doing the best you can for the people.
Jasmine's gonna shrug and she's gonna say, I'll do the best I can for a reward.
Is this addressed to Tarek as well?
You can take it as you want. I mean, they've paid. You're aware they've paid for your services. Like the Arcanum has been paid for your services.
Also, one thing that I've kind of assumed, like coming back to Mod and like, you know, being in Civilization, Artur's managed to regather most of his supplies, what he could find in the prison, and also just buying back or asking for stuff.
Yeah,
Like he's not.
there was
he's
like
not,
a large. There was like a large. When you came back, it was like a large festival essentially had for you and like the other people that came to Mod that fought against all of this.
Yeah.
There's like a large like feast in the street. It's like a giant block party essentially, and at that point, once you guys had all been gathered, you were rewarded handsomely for already doing what you did. So
Yeah.
each one of you was awarded. It depends. I'll ask you guys later. It depends what you guys want.
I mean, I
Rather
basically
than just give you like a flat money amount, like he pretty much says that he owes you all one favor, and
But I at the very
I'll take a
least,
favor.
I at the very least gave myself my axes and my clothing back because I'm not running around with a scimitar I stole from a UNT anymore.
right.
I'll take a favor from someone in power. That's a decent reward.
That's fine.
I'll
So,
think about what that would be.
do we get to meet the prince?
Yes, how is this whole arrangement going to work?
He looks you over very carefully and very well.
Those were your words, if I recall.
Do we
Do not
to
get me wrong.
upgrade on our...
I trust you, but to let you near my prince, that is a whole new level of trust. So come with me, but be warned. If you try anything, I will not hesitate to kill you.
Reasonable.
As any low man should do for his prince. Understood.
Lead the way.
Bows his head and kind of forward as he walks. He leads down some hallways and ultimately leads you out into this other like beautiful courtyard that's beyond the sheer cliff. So essentially, there's this. You guys know the palace sits atop like this giant perch, like this giant sheer cliff that overlooks Mod, and where you were was in like the lower levels, like inside the face of the sheer cliff. And so he brings you through these vast staircases out into this giant like courtyard that's on the other side, into another building, and then there's like a long, windy kind of vertical thing that he brings you up until you eventually get to like the main residence where the prince is. And it's like this giant kind of I'm trying to think of how to explain it, but it's almost like Venezuelan, almost kind of like an open one-story like giant house, and all around it is like this just giant garden, and essentially sitting atop.
Like Greek-like.
Yeah.
Like, versus for open. what do they call? I forgot what they called it too. It was on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah, there's a word
There's
for
a,
it, but I
a
can't
word
think
for it. Yeah.
I can't think
I
of it.
haven't been listening for like the past minute, so I can't help.
Shoot. It's like literally on the tip of my tongue, and I can't remember what the fucking name of it is. Anyway, sorry. But as we're walking, actually, Edmund's going to be walking like right behind Tariq, like he's sizing him up, like looking at the way he walks, his dress, his mannerisms. Essentially, he's trying to, will this guy survive with us, with what we have to do? So just kind of walk behind him, just sizing him up, trying to see. Because I noticed we haven't actually.
As you size him up,
Grotto?
pardon?
No, go ahead.
As you look, he seems. Your first impression was probably that he's a scraping bootlicker, as he seemed to overly flatter the vizier. But he walks with a confidence that most people that are desperately trying to prostrate themselves don't have. And he... Oh, is that the document? Cool. So he walks with a confidence that you would not have expected after that display. And he seems more relaxed once we get out of the out into the open air, because it was like an open thing that we went into, right? Yeah. He seems to relax more once
Outside of a building.
The uncomfortable heat of the open air. He seems to thrive. And you notice there's he has an absent-minded, he raises his hand to his chest and fiddles with a glass amulet.
Interesting. I think Jasmine would have followed the vizier right behind him. She's not. I don't want to do anything too shady outright, but she's keeping pace with this guy. Doesn't want to be left in the background.
Yeah, he's certainly he's walking with purpose.
I think we're thinking of a villa. I think. Is that the name of it? It's just like an open, like ancient Rome, like the villa. It's just.
They had villas.
Yeah, a villa. Yeah. That's what.
Yeah.
It is. That's the word.
That's what I was. Okay.
Essentially. So it takes a little while. There's a lot of walking, right? You're essentially climbing a giant cliff, right? Even though it's carved out nice, it still takes a while to get there. So after some time of being led, you can see the vizier. He's a little chunky. So by the time he's a little winded, and you can see he has his kerchief, and he's just dabbing sweat off, and.
There's a small amount of side eye coming from her. Pathetic.
Oh, he's.
Do you see that audibly?
No, under her breath. Mostly to
Okay.
herself. Less of a word, more of a mouth.
Gotcha.
A literal eye opens up on the back of his head. Okay. So he leads
turns
you all
into a
to
Tarrasque.
this beautiful villa that's up top of this giant, essentially perch that's overlooking all of Mod. You just see in both directions the near infinite Al Hayat, which is just spreading, and you see it's almost like it fades into a foggy haze, right? Almost like an oasis, heat rising off. It's just probably the most beautiful scene you've ever had the pleasure of
Sick.
seeing. Like the best sight, right? And as you're kind of like, holy shit, he leads you on. Come, this way. We are almost there.
You should come hunt in the swamps.
Sounds tempting, but I am going to have to decline. And he gives you a
Okay.
smile. So, you
Lathander's
see...
beauty truly has touched this landscape. As Tarek is pushed to poetics from the view.
Right.
Yes, come, please. And he kind of like shoos you guys along, bringing you into this villa. There's just a million of these servants going like hither and thither, like carrying trays or like doing various like pruning of flowers and whatnot. And as you're brought in, it's just like this large open, and he's sitting up on this throne with the stereotypical kind of like two people fanning him kind of thing, and like he just has this large bowl of fruit, and like essentially everything in this main room is totally gold, like for no reason. It's just what's the word, ostentatious.
Opulent.
Garish.
Yeah,
I
just,
know we all had a different word for it.
We're just throwing on so many random words.
yeah, it's all good vocabulary, but yeah, it's over the top. And as you come in, he looks kind of like unimpressed, but you come in and he has like this grand like, I've been waiting for you, come please. And
What does he look like physically?
so he looks like he's like very, very trim, and he has like these long sort of flowy, it's almost like a robe going on, and he has his hair like pulled up almost like in a warrior's tail, very like he has like a trim like black hair, like beard, and that hugs his face very tightly, and he is just very I'm trying to think of how to say what I'm trying to say here, but again, long silken kind of flowy clothes, and he's very much in shape. He looks kind of like,
Okay.
have you ever seen Maji?
Yeah,
Yeah,
like Sinbad.
kind of like Sinbad. Yeah,
Okay, gotcha. Understood. That's actually what I was picturing.
yeah, kind of
long.
Sinbad with like a nice tight beard.
I see it.
Oh, anyway, he welcomes you in, and as the vizier like goes down to one knee, the prince kind of meets him and pulls him up. No need for that. Come on, stand please. Here we are, my friends and employee.
The Arcanum is honored to do business with you, Your Majesty.
As I am with them.
And deep bow.
And to that,
Even
has
after
like
he said, like, don't do that.
has like a head nod, and then he kind of looks over at the rest of you.
Artur like quickly locks eyes with the prince, and then just kind of does a quick glance around the surroundings and looks kind of overwhelmed by this just sheer presence and all of the people in this room, and just everything seems to be kind of breaking his expectation of reality a little bit.
Are you
And-
okay? Do you need to sit?
Oh no, I'm okay. I'm just a little
No.
surprised.
Please, yo, come here. And there's like this very young girl that's kind of like, ooh, and she comes over and get this man a drink, chair, please, now. And They just like push a chair over, essentially sit you down. He like snaps at one of the people that has like the fan on him and fans you. Please, I've invited you. You are my guest.
Okay. Yeah, I'm fine. Let's continue this conversation.
Evan cracks a little smile at Artur's uncomfortability. Oh, you silly man.
So, what has Darwishi told you? And
Is that his name?
that is the Vizier.
Somebody's name.
And you would know. Actually, you would know if you lived in Mod. He is Vizier Darwishi Abdallah.
Darwin Abdallah. Okay.
I think. I mean, he said that you needed us to look into some problems around the realm and promised more work. Essentially.
Indeed.
The baronies are in chaos, and you need help with that.
He nods. That is correct. But not just me. The people. The people. And he kind of like with a finger, kind of like a school teacher almost. It's like the people need you.
So what is it that the people need?
They need to feel safe. They need to know that I will protect them. That they need not fear. So, that is where you come in, my friends.
Help
But
him.
we will protect them.
Indeed. I have the resources. You have the skill. And we need to uncover the enemy's plans. I have reason to believe that Feruxia, I believe they wish to take our power. They are on the river. It only makes sense. I know there is a long feud between some of the other baronies in the Mir, especially with Habadur. So, we need to figure out what their plans are. And we need to figure it out fast.
And we are but a small party. I would hope you have more specific plans and intentions. We are not many. We're not soldiers. As far as I know.
But you look the part so well. And he kind of puts his hand on your shoulder as you're being fanned by this young woman. And
A mercenary, perhaps, but soldier's a different thing.
Doesn't want soldiers, he wants spies.
indeed,
Investigators.
indeed. See? She knows.
She kind of like gives a wry little smirk, the same smirk that crossed her face when he mentioned Habadur.
So here is the deal. I know you have had tidings with the Black Talons. My first task for you is to be rid of them. They destroy our trade overland. Now that we have the river at our back again, we are okay, but it does not make the people feel safe. Important
Those are the.
Are you talking in character or out of character?
This is in character.
Go ahead.
Those are the bandits in the desert, correct?
Indeed, and I thank you
Let-
for weeding them out the first time. I'm very sorry for your loss, but they must be stopped.
I was not present when these people encountered them, but from what I've heard of their deeds, I'd be happy to help.
He nods.
Do our debt.
This is the caveat. Their leader. You must not kill him. I need him alive. must bring him to me. We must figure out what the enemy's plans are, not ruin it on vengeance. Can you promise me this? And he looks over all of you.
That could potentially be achieved.
Do you need him in one piece?
Yes.
Alive and whole?
Alive and whole. No exceptions. As for me,
Heaven is little
I reward you,
turned.
and then we continue. So on and so forth. The better you do for me, the better I do for you.
Does that
He
hurt
kind
to
of,
have your back?
She looks around at the other people, only two of whom she's really familiar with. And Jasmine looks back to the prince and says, I have no quarrel with the Black Talons, and if you want the man alive, that's fine. Don't worry about any revenge. I have no idea what you're talking about. You want him alive? He's alive.
What
Look-
about
Yeah, go ahead.
what about the people around them? Once we leave them alive?
The more you can leave alive, the better. But he is the one we need.
To see the wheels in Edmund's head start turning. He's kind of with his hand on his chin, like he's thinking.
If we could, optionally, I would request his, I do not want to say mistress, okay, his second in command, Lady Soliana Siddiqui. Have them both, but if you cannot swing it, Kyrian is the one you need.
It is Sildana, right? That's what it was?
Liliana.
Lady Soliana Siddiqui.
Siliana. She was Soliana. She was a magic user, if I recall.
Yes. A priestess.
Does she have to keep her hands?
No. If she can talk, that is good enough.
Understood.
Hey, can you guys hear me now? I've been trying to talk for like a minute, and I don't think you guys could hear me.
Oh, nope.
Artur kind of looks at Edmund and is like, "You, of all of us, have the experience with these fine folks, the Black Talon. How feasible does this sound?"
If we can get Kyrian alone, and strip him of his armor, we can take him. Lady Soliana is a fairly powerful caster, but I feel we could take her too. Cut off her hands. She can't cast.
From what I recall, you found yourself surrounded last time. We'll make sure it doesn't
Jasmine
happen
kind of
again.
shrugs and she's like, alive is alive. Hands are optional.
We found ourselves surrounded because we were stupid. It was,
Let's
and
not be
frankly,
stupid then.
yes. We still came out fairly good. Killed a lot of theirs, burned their supplies, the place that they live.
That's a good
Pers-
point, though. As far as we know, are they still in the same place, or have they scattered?
Look
We
at
have
this.
sent scouts to try and glean more from the location we were given before. No such luck. We are quite uncertain. The tunnels, they stretch for miles.
So,
Not sure if they have relocated or if they are deeper or we don't
So
believe
what-
them to be there, but it is perhaps a possibility. Or perhaps you can find something that my scouts did not find the first time.
so
Gideon
we're
is-
supposed to find them as well as capture them. I guess that's our best lead then.
Gideon is smart. I do not think he would stay in the same place, knowing that it's infiltrated, could be destroyed. I could see that he'd move.
Still, if we were looking to pick up the trace, it's probably the best
Start
place
there.
we could find.
I think the best thing that we can do is become bait. I'll show you what I mean when we get out to the desert.
Right. Okay, I'm all for this. We deal with people like this Kyrian and other raiders all the time where I'm from. It never ends well, but I know what I'm doing.
The only other task I have, if it brings you close, a small village called Taki.
Hmm.
I hear there is large birds. That is as much as I can say. I've heard the reports that it is ravaging the village. People for miles.
One or multiple.
Some say it is one that is as big as half of this cliff. Others say it is many that flood the skies. Not sure. I'm not sure the truth of these, but if you investigate, so be it. If your path leads you there, but if not, just remember that Kyrian is the one I want. Anything else is extra.
I kind of looked at Edmund. For those of us that are geographically challenged, which of those two things seems closer? Which Edmund would probably know this, but not. Rick probably doesn't know this. So this is probably going to be some DM info. Kyrian's old hideout or this village, which is closer to us right now?
He points out, this is the village of Taki. He asks for one of his servants, and they bring you a map, and he just gives the map to you afterwards. And he circles it on your map.
Now I gotta find out where Kyrian's hideout was. I think I know.
Yeah, which Edmund will say, we might stop at the village first. There actually may be a few folks there who know where the bandits hide out. Maybe the bandits even stop in town every now and then to raid. We could maybe catch a few. It's a good place to gather information. Either way.
And I am fascinated by these large birds. It's a very strange tale.
I like large birds.
Oh, Prince.
I am the knight.
Prince with his manly Dark Knight voice. Okay.
Very well. You let me know. Whatever you need for supplies, you have it.
I do have one request, as I look over at Tariq and back to the prince. I'm a bit of a magic user myself, but the Arcanum forbids magic above a third level without licensing. And I was wondering if I could get that permission or approval or license, whatever's necessary. I do not want to get in trouble from our friend here.
I just flash like a beautiful grin, all teeth, and I wait for the prince to respond.
He looks at you like for a moment, kind of like, I will see what I can do. To be frank, yes, the Arcanum resides here in Mad, but it is not under my control. I did not order this man. I paid for him.
Fair enough. Whatever you can do. I mean, if it comes down to a pinch, I will do what I have to, but I'd rather not be.
From what I have seen of this ability, is having more magical resources on hand would be life-saving.
Oh, a strong warrior like yourself surely has no need for the meager abilities I could provide. Please,
There's more.
we've already heard tales of your exploits in Sud. Very impressive.
Yes, and I have not necessarily spellcasting, but I have magical parameters to my work too.
Do you think
None of
that
us-
Artur knows the word parameters?
I don't know. I don't even know if that word made sense in that sentence, but I couldn't think of any word.
Dylan,
I'm just being honest here.
rude.
1d6 psychic damage.
Jeez.
I feel like Artur actually has a pretty decent vocabulary. He just doesn't. He's not much of like a reader or writer, but he's a good speaker.
Well, you need to read and write those words to know they exist, or hear them.
I don't know
Yeah,
if that's how
small
that
bad.
works.
Backwards.
And maybe he heard them. He's been in a lot of places since Nordman.
That's how that works.
True.
By the way,
Even
this.
parameters, that's a good word.
By the way, this. These compliments seem genuine out of me.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't think- we don't
and
believe
Artur
that.
seems kind of confused by them. This is like,
Okay.
but thank you for the thank you for the trust in my abilities.
Truly, it will be an honor to work with you all. Lathander willing.
Yes, yeah. Just hold up your own weight. Don't need another one of ours dying. Yes?
The prince looks on, and so the colors he wears like a lot of like purples and silvers, and you can see hanging through his shirt is
His
a
penis. We can see his
his
penis.
penis. It's his penis. Oh, it's a
Nice.
symbol of the Raven Queen, and you know that the Raven Queen is heavily revered here. They don't hate Lathander by any means, but Lathander is like the traditional god of Izalam, and somewhat more recently is Raven Queen in Amir. But it's not uncommon for people to either revere both, or like some baronies are more twapped about it. But
Oh no, it's okay. I'm not here to fight the prince.
no, I know. I'm just letting you know. So, just because you would know. Anyway, so at that he nods you all. Well, so
I mean, the only
you let me know what you need, and you
Mhm.
shall have it.
the only supplies I can think of needing are just general travel supplies. We haven't been in the city for long, and I haven't procured much other than weapons.
Whatever you need, Darwishi. And he kind of like sets him loose, and while he asks you and takes logistics, I would like to see you one by one. And first he calls over Edmund. And not like super private, just like while Darwishi's kind of like taking notes, and
Yeah.
he's like seeing what you guys want. He meets one by one.
Am I taller than the prince?
How tall are you?
I don't know. What was that? Like 6'2"?
Prince is
Yeah,
fairly
everyone was
tall.
like around there.
Prince is actually 3 feet tall.
Yeah. No, the prince he's fairly
He's a
tall,
halfling.
6'2". So he's
How old is the prince?
he's probably he's just a tad bit taller than you, but it's hard to tell if it's because he's just standing up like straighter and more proper, or like, you know what I mean? It's one of those where it's like
Yeah.
just barely a little bit that it's hard to tell. And
Gotcha.
what was that? Sorry, Jen? You said something.
I was just curious how old the prince was.
He doesn't look very old, to be honest. He looks like he's like maybe 1 year old. No, he looks like
Cool.
he's
Oh.
yeah, I saw the brief like, wait, what? No, he looks like he's just a little bit beyond like his younger 20s. He's maybe mid 20s, or
And
maybe
he's
Okay.
full-blood human.
26, 27. Yeah, he's human.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Kid. Okay. Alright, so yeah, Edmund walks over, his arms kind of crossed, standing nonchalantly. My prince,
You do this for me, and I owe you a favor. what I ask you is to make a deal. You do what I want. What do you want?
Silence.
Dylan, you still there?
Hard question.
Oh, I guess that was me. I didn't hear what you said.
What do you want?
Oh, yeah. He essentially says, "You do what I want, and I will reward you." And he's asking what you want.
What do I want?
Yes.
Because I kind of look back to the group. Is there any abandoned property or strongholds that have no one in them around the area of Ma'at? Does not have to be in the city, or it can be either one. Any defensible abandoned.
Let me think. I'm not sure if there's any abandoned, but well, I'm sure there's a couple of lesser nobles that we could always, shoo away, or perhaps build something.
I'd like to build or extend north in town, a place where we can feel safe from our enemies. As I nod to him, and it's a place that I can fortify with my own magics to protect us.
He nods. Anything magical, I would take up the Arcana. As you know, they are very sensitive about that. So that I cannot promise you. I told you I will do what I can, but in
The building it.
the building itself, again, you do for me, and I do for you.
I give a head bow. Records. I don't walk away until he dismisses me, though. I know that much.
Yeah. He puts his hand on your shoulder, and then he looks, kind of like eyeing you up and down, and then he nods and yes, let us have a deal. You take care of the Black Talons, and you take care of, or you investigate what is going on in Taki, and you will have your home.
That is a fair deal.
Very well. And he puts out his hand.
I put out my hand and shake with him.
It's a good old strong shake. Good old
Yes.
shake. And then, very well. I dismiss you. And then next he calls over Jasmine. So, young lady.
She does not like to be addressed with you. So she kind of gives him like an even look as she comes forward. There's no bow, but openly disrespectful.
Very spirited, I see. What do they call you?
My name is Jasmine. That's as much as I'd like you to know right now.
A beautiful name for a beautiful girl. You do for me, and I do for you. What would you want of me?
She kind of takes a look at this opulent, a little bit garish gold room and the view of the entire mud beyond the window and brings it back to him real slowly. And you have a beautiful place here. You can see as far as the sun goes.
Yes,
Take care of.
my eyes stretch far.
That must be nice. There's a lot of things happening in the world. And what I would ask of you, we've already done so much, and we're happy to do more. Immunity within your borders, sir.
Very well. Go on.
You don't know me. I know you in some respect.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm getting like something in my headphones. If there was something about me untoward or maybe even criminal here, I can't be caught here. Immunity from your police force. A safe haven, if you will.
Ah. Darwishi, a fine choice, this one. And he kind of like shoots him a side glance and then back to you with a smile. And I can tell you this. I will harbor no criminal in my princedom, but
As far as you're concerned, sir, I am no criminal.
if those days are behind you, then yes. You have immunity here. Steal other than my word. If you steal other than my word. If you do anything unbecoming other than my word, our deal is off. Other than that, yes, I accept.
I can work with that. And to the best of my ability, you'll have your man.
Very well. And with that, he thrusts his hand out.
She'll shake his hand, but she's gonna make a lot of eye contact.
He also makes a lot of eye contact.
When the handshake is done, she's going to turn around and walk without being dismissed.
He looks over and kind of smirks and then calls Artur. You.
As I kind of step forward, and I just kind of I look him directly in the eyes as he's talking to me.
Be like, I look him directly in the mouth.
I look him in the crotch.
His dick is hanging out of his shirt.
Directly at his
so
dick.
just staring at it.
Assert dominance.
How do you like
This-
my dick? It is very dicky.
This
Someone
giant-
stand on the throne.
I'm wearing my special pair of dickies.
This,
Okay, so he calls you over. You look at his orbital sockets as he
It's
looks to yours.
It's that gigantic man.
He's
just,
lovingly at him.
staring back at him.
So,
Hello.
now I call to you.
Mhm.
You do for me, I do for you. So what is our deal? What can I do for you?
I've been pondering it a lot, and I can't really ask for much. Obviously I'm a warrior, and the tools of my trade are in good steel and iron. Tools, weapons. And he kinda point... Do I have my weapons with me, or did they take them?
Fucking way. Yeah.
Yeah. If you were to go through our belongings, which I imagine you don't because you're the prince, I have a pair of beautiful battle axes. It's my main trade. If I could perhaps get some better armaments, though, of a similar type, that would be good to my trade. Other than that, I simply ask for my name to be known. I travel these lands and I travel the world and I look to make history.
A man looking to make history, to put his mark on the world. Now this man, I like this man. And he goes to shake your hand, and Darwishi, this is a good one. Yes,
But
you have my word. A tool is useless unless it is sharp. So yes, whatever you desire for armor, weapons, you have
perhaps
it.
I can talk to a smith of some sort and see about getting something made to my own desired properties.
Very well, we can do that. Some time, but you can also
That is okay.
you can also see what we have here at your disposal.
Okay, but that's the most I can ask is things to help me with what I do. Man of purpose.
Very well. You do this, I will make you the sharpest tool imaginable. Also, I will hold a banquet in your honor specifically, and I will make sure your praise is sung throughout all of Amir.
I would appreciate that. And you have my loyalty for as long as I believe you are of respect. And I think you are. You seem like a good man.
And you as well. And with that, he puts his hand out. Let it be known, it is a deal.
Take the hand, probably a little bit too hard. Archer doesn't quite understand his own strength sometimes. And shake gingerly.
Very well. And with that, he looks back to you all, and Darwishi's taking logistics. And he looks to you all. He looks over to Tarek, and he nods to you. You, I have already bought and paid for.
Your Majesty, it is the Arcanum's pleasure to serve the barony. You've been kind enough to allow us to stay in your fine capital. We have a vested interest in protecting it.
Yes. As I would hope, but you and I both know the Arcanum stretches far beyond Amir in my power, so enough of your drivel. And with that, he smiles to suck up to me.
Sounds like some tension.
My apologies. And a slight incline of the head. Like it. And there's like a little confusion on my face.
And then with that, he kind of like turns to sit back on his chair, and then he stops and looks to you. But I paid good gold for you. Whatever you need for the journey, you let Darwishi know, and you'll have it.
Your generosity knows no bounds.
With that, he kind of nods and... Thank you all for coming. But now it is time that I went back to business. Other business. And with that, he snaps, and the two women that were fanning him, the one that was fanning you before, comes back over, and they begin again. Now I would ask you to leave. Darwishi, please see them out. And good luck. Alright, and with that, you guys are led down and out. You're given, if you wish, stay in the lower portions where you were before, or where some of you were before, and you are given full access to essentially anything you want for your travel. Like, you're well fed. If you need extra clothes, if you need anything that you could really want, you can have for this.
Cool.
In terms of crashing around the house, no, I'm trying to think here. Yes, Artur. So, Darwishi, he essentially refers you to the armament master for the prince and his armies, and he sends you over to the forge, and there's like a metric ass ton of people that are just going to town. You can see there's a large production. They're making they're getting ready for war, whatever it is that's to come. And,
Is that Artur? Is that Artur that went?
yeah, this is Artur.
I'm gonna go with him because I need some weapons as well. Sorry, I had to reset my Discord, so I didn't hear the beginning of it. But I'm gonna go with him.
So yeah, you see in full production mode, right? They're just pounding out standardized weapons and armor. And with that, Artur, are you here? No?
He said bad.
Oh no.
He's taking a poop.
Oh, okay. I see it.
So with
That's
that,
who
he takes a giant poop at the end.
Takes a giant shit in the middle of the smithy.
Eyes mid poop. His heart
Aw.
seizes up and he dies. He's just Elvis.
Just Elvis style. Ah, beat me to it. That's the UNT peanut butter and banana sandwich.
Right.
Somebody got the reference. Thank you, Marcus.
So, what about you there, Rick? What are you looking for?
I'm gonna get some. I need weapons as well.
All right, what are you looking for?
Scimitar, a dagger, bow and arrow.
Okay, don't you already have all those things?
I had all those things, but this little thing with this guy called the father happened, and
Yeah.
I lost everything that I had.
Well, everybody
So-
was everybody was re-equipped. I didn't have time to write as much as I wanted to, give as much detail, but part of some of the goods from Meidwan were crates with all armaments in it. So
I also don't want to. I don't want to use anything from that was like the stuff that I took that the UNT and the bandits were armed with. I don't want to use any of that.
Okay.
So
so
it'll be
yeah, sure. So standard for all those weapons. Absolutely.
sweet. I mean, unless the prince is giving them some masterwork bows and stuff, I'll just saying.
He does have masterwork stuff. He has masterwork stuff for Artur, because that was their
Yeah, because I specifically asked for that.
Boo! No,
Hey, man.
no, that's all. I just want some get some arrows.
Yeah,
Artur can have it.
essentially
He's a good boy.
Anything that's in the PHP, you can just have. So,
Okay.
I mean, as long as you need it, not just oh, well, I have 12 bows and 12. Yeah, but if you're like, oh, I need a longbow, I need 100 arrows or however many arrows, I need
You run into the prince's armory and it's like, I need every bow you can make me. Every
Every
single one.
single arrow in the palace.
So
I did
Artur,
have 200 arrows.
Yeah.
what is it that you wish. What are you looking for?
Like in terms of like you know, the weapons that I asked for.
Yeah.
Probably like if I only have a limited number of choices, just like the best pair of dual battle axes I can get my hands on. Essentially, right now with mementos and having new ones to use in combat that are nicer.
A pair of hand axes?
Battle axes. A pair of battle axes.
A pair of battle axes.
Because you can use them in one hand, and as part of dual wielder, I can use any one-handed weapon as an offhand weapon. So I dual wield battle axes, and I probably look like a fucking maniac because they're typically two-handed weapons. But great axes are the limit. Battle axes are versatile. You can one-hand them. So.
All right. So, a pair of them. Why you gotta be that guy? Yeah.
Yeah, I dual wield, so I do need two.
You need two, but it would be easier if you had just one. But okay. So, he does. So he has normal battle axes. He has one that is masterwork. That he seems like he doesn't want to part with it, but Darwishi is right there, and his word is the prince's word. So he kind of begrudgingly accepts, looking you over and kind of nodding to himself, and you can see that it's marked with his brand on it. So he pretty much tells you to go out and essentially let the world know that is his making, essentially.
What would a masterwork battle axe entail?
So,
like, is it +1 or other properties or?
Yeah, I'm getting to that. So, this masterwork battle axe it's a +1, just straight up. It's just +1.
So a lot of +1 battle axe is a base.
Yep. And it is also sorry, here I'm rolling to on this chart that I have here. So rather than I can't remember what is a battle axe with a one hand? It's a D8, right?
It's a D8.
Yes.
So it is instead a D10 on the damage. It's +1, and it has. Hold on. Yeah. Oh, you already have that, so it doesn't make sense. Sorry, I'm rolling in some of these. It's just like, like it doesn't. It's not very good, you know. Like it wouldn't fit like awesomeness. Anyway. Yeah. You know, I love you, so I'll just say that the crit range is also expanded by 1 as well.
So it's crits on 19 instead of a.
Yeah, 19 and 20.
Spicy.
Spicy.
And because it's a 1d10, one-handed, I have legitimately no reason to ever two-hand the battle axe ever. That's amazing.
Well, it's also a step up. So normally it's
two-handed is 1d12.
Yes. So it's essentially kind of like a great axe, except you can, swap it. So it's like a really well balanced. It's slightly elongated, but the way that it's weighted, you can still use it with one hand powerfully. But it's just elongated enough to be kind of like a great axe.
Although the different damage dice does complicate things a little bit, because it means if using a different battle axe in each hand means I need 2 different buttons for each hand.
Not really.
Unfortunately.
Unless you just have one macro that does both.
Well, I don't know how to do that, so.
You too.
but it's not that bad. I'll figure it out.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
I just need to make an offhand variant of the attack that's 1d8, because, of course, I can do 1d10 damage. I'm, of course, going to do that twice per turn as my main attack, and then my offhand attack will be the shittier battle axe.
Yeah. Indeed. So, and at that point, like, if you would like to, you can have a, you can have, like, a new battle axe that's just, like, you know, shinier. Unless you want to keep yours, like, it's whatever.
Essentially, I'm packing up my old battle axes. Like, they are mementos to me now. To be passed on to someone else someday, hopefully. And these are the ones that I'll actually use.
Alright. And 4. So, so you have that. Is there anything else that you would like to have for... I mean, you're barbarian, so you probably don't want armor. But...
Nope.
Shield, anything else?
I wield a weapon in each hand, so a shield would actually be detrimental. So, no, not really.
Okay. Awesome. So, yeah, that's what you got.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything... I assume you want another one at some point. So would you like to have him order you essentially whatever you want? But it's gonna take
I
some time.
I would like to order another one that essentially has the same properties. It's essentially a mirrored version of the first one. So I can have twins of the same type.
Okay. You don't want the other one to have any different properties. I'm opening it
Nah.
up for you to be creative.
Nah, because I don't know. I kind of want to double down. Like, that's one of the amazing things about having the two-handed weapon fighting, is I only need one button for all of my attacks. So, the diversifying is almost detrimental to the entire... But, I mean...
So it's fine. It's your thing. So, you...
But also,
essentially-
I'm not entirely sure what properties I could pick from.
Anything that you can think of, you can pick, but we'll talk about it later. So
Chain of Returner.
you order this. You order like a new weapon to be made. Darwishi ensures that it happens, and the old gentleman kind of like he grumbles a little bit and he nods, and we'll talk about the logistics of it later because I don't want to waste any more time on it because it's not done right now anyway. So, yeah. So, anyone else? Whatever you guys need, you have. Just look at the player's handbook or whatever and just, if you want it, you have it. This is your time to essentially plan what you're gonna do.
Yeah.
Alright, let's see. Would they have like an apothecary here? I mean, obviously, it's the palace.
Yes.
Poison.
You
Okay.
can-
Poison. Yes, poison.
Poison.
Several.
Oh god.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm gonna get some.
the prince, you know, there's sometimes that more unsavory methods are required. So yes.
Cool, that's me.
So yes, you have ley poisons.
Oh, can I talk Darwishi into getting us a fancy like horse-pulled horse and wagon? Not I want it to be flashy, and I'll explain it to him that it's part of the bait to try to lure out the bandits. So I want
It's actually pretty clever.
Move.
try to pass through their old haunts, looking a little flashy, and try to draw them out. So a couple camels, and then a horse-drawn kind of fancy like wagon.
Sure. and he has people loaded up with various goods that are not just valuable for the sake of being valuable, but he just puts like various crates and stuff in there. He puts like dried food stores and other things that you would like need for your journey, but he, you know, has them pack it up in a way that looks like you have a lot of precious goods.
Some clothes to kind of cover what I look like, because when we came through last time, we killed a lot of bandits. So I want to disguise myself a little bit. I think I'm the only one. Holy shit.
Yes, you're the
Yeah.
only
Yup,
one who was
last one
there.
standing.
Holy shit. All right.
Well, you got a whole new crew now, so you won't be easily recognized.
Yeah. So I'm gonna disguise myself and drive the wagon. That just dawned on me that the last time we passed through there.
Yeah, that's why
Completely different
that's why Artur had to like ask you like, hey, can we do this? What's going on? Who are these people? Because like he doesn't know, he wasn't there.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Shit.
Fair too, Artur. You're no longer hired anymore, right? 'Cause
That is
you
true.
were initially
Yeah.
hired, so this is of your own volition.
Yeah.
You're like
Feel-
double hired.
I was originally following Felix around as essentially his bodyguard, and now Felix is gone, so
oof.
Wait. Felix was left. He didn't die. Felix. No, Felix didn't die. Oh shit.
Everyone else.
That's all I heard too.
yeah, you're a robot.
That was awesome.
Oh. Sorry. I'm going
Good.
through.
I don't know if Felix died, I forget.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, okay.
Yup.
Exhaustion, I think.
He died of snake.
He died of snake.
He died of snake.
Question,
I-
Dylan.
Yes.
So can I like leave the order with Darwishi and go do something?
Yeah. You guys have as much
Okay.
time as you want. This is the, like, I mean,
Okay.
if you take forever, if you sit for like a couple weeks and you're just hanging out on the Princess
know.
Point, he'll get pissed. But like,
But I
We
noticed they
we just
were-
stay for like a year. We live here now.
We take up residence in the palace. It's fine.
And
But
the
speaking
prince
of
never
palace-
asked us.
I noticed there were a bunch of nobles here, and I was wondering, since we're in the prince's palace, could I maybe in the throne room or where people are kind of congregating, see if I can pick up on some information, some gossip the nobles are talking about? Because it's different from the nobles to the street. I mean, we're his guests, so it's not like we'd look out of place.
you certainly look out of place.
I am gonna look out of place, but we're allowed to be here, so it's not like they can throw me out for
Here, yeah.
eavesdropping.
Not to mention, many of the faces recognize you all from the festivities that were in your honor. And yeah, so we'll say that there is a little bit of some nobles coming right to court a little bit on these lower levels. Nobody's really allowed up to like where the prince is.
I
But they
can go
kind
down
of
there.
schmooze around, and you know, they come and go as a meeting place, but you begin like eavesdropping and trying to glance as much information as you can, essentially repeating most of the things that I said in the handout, and confirm like most of the information you've been told, or you know, because you talked to the prince already.
Of course, but there's no gossip or anything
You hear
suspicious happenings in far reaches.
you hear various gossips of yeah, so you hear like this noble is trying to displace that noble, and there's a lot of like political sort of like feuds in that, like people are essentially trying to be like, my dick's bigger, no, my dick's bigger, and you know, in most of the like the noble houses, people are talking a lot about the trade over land and what it's done to them, and how they can't get various things, or the prices skyrocketed and stuff like that. There's a lot of pleasantries going on, and you hear about some of the other happenings that are going on. There's a lot of trends that you hear in Feruxia, which is to the north on the river, that are kind of mimicking Mod, which you already kind of knew that. Feruxia, it very much has tried to mimic Mod's success. So saying like, oh, this is trendy now. Oh, my cousin or my brother is here, and he's a lesser noble there, and this is all the rage at their court. You glean a lot from. You do hear that homage is not being paid to, and there's this one guy, and he looks like he's like very old, and pretty much talking to whoever he can, and pretty much saying that tribute is not being paid properly to Al-Jafaf. And you know Al-Jafaf is it's the barony most to like, it's like to the northeast or northwest, sorry. And long story short, there's like rumor has it there is a giant wall that stretches, like local legend is like it cuts off the world. There's nothing behind there, but I mean, like logistically, you know that there's other places in the world, but it spans for miles and miles. You're not sure how high it is, but some people say it's a wall that's 10 stories high. Other people say it's 10,000 feet high. It's very exaggerated depending on like where you hear it from. There's various stories, and long story short, local legend has it that there are monsters and essentially like pure evil on the other side of the wall, and it is the people in Al-Jafaf in these vast wastelands called the Drotlands, and they essentially keep out the bad stuff, and there's like a giant watch, essentially kind of like Game of Thrones, which
Okay.
I only knew because somebody told me that. I'm like, oh, I've never watched Game of Thrones or read it except for the first book, and they did touch on that a tiny bit. Well, long story short, it's anyway, so kind of like that.
Tribute is not being paid there.
Tribute
and
is not being paid.
causing issue.
And that's a common issue because all the baronies are supposed to pitch in to essentially fund that endeavor. And what's happened in the recent rulings and decades is people are only sending, essentially they're sending prisoners. They're sending like the scraps of society that are left over. They're not sending them the right goods. They're not sending them money. They're not sending them things that are useful. They're just like discarding more waste onto them. They're not taking their responsibilities to Al-Jafaf seriously.
I know how that plays out.
And you can see that like he seems very adamant on it, and other people are like, oh, it's a local legend, whatever, and you know, nothing's happened for hundreds of years, and it's all
Winter won't come. That's fine.
yeah, it's all hogwash and poppycock and all that malarkey. That's pretty much what you glean from that, and he leaves most of these conversations kind of like disgruntled and whatever.
Okay. Good to know.
So, I'm trying to see if there's anything else you glean. So, you know because you were there, so I don't really think. Okay, so you hear two nobles talking about the relationship between Dal-Kana and Habadar, and generally speaking, you know that there's like a big rivalry where essentially Dal-Kana thinks that they, in their barony, like they are like the place where the original like holy site is.
A little bit of a holy war.
Yeah. A little
Or
bit of
holy
a
arms race.
Yeah, and essentially it's same god, but they're like, no, we are the chosen ones, and Habadra's like, no, we are the chosen ones. There's a little bit of that goes on, and one younger noble says that they've begun trade again, and they've begun to warm up to each other. And then there's another one that says, no way, no way, there's no way that's happening. They hate each other, and goes on to talk about how this leader fought against that leader, and this was that way and that was this way, and there's a lot of talking back and forth.
Stuff in that region is kind of shifting.
Yes.
Okay, interesting.
And that's what they're saying, but other people are openly like, no, there's no way that could happen. Feuding with other things. The only barony you haven't really heard much of is Naveen. It's on the other side of the Al Hayat to the actually no, sorry. This is to the west. Yeah, Naveen is more like southwest. And you haven't really heard any rumors about Naveen, but that's pretty much all the baronies. That's kind of what you glean over the course of whatever, a long period.
Okay, it's information.
Right? That's all I got. So, if you're
Does Edmund wanna? I was gonna say, does Edmund wanna? Edmund expressed concern about his status casting spells.
Correct.
Rick, you here?
Yeah, what's up?
Oh, I don't know if you wanted to chat about that, or if we'll just take it as it comes.
What he can do, but there's no word yet on it.
Okay.
Fortunately, it's out of the prince's hands.
What, can Tori do something about it?
I mean, you have someone from the Arcanum who is, authorized. If you have an overseer and, you make a promise, then who knows, things might work out.
Nah.
That's fine, we'll take it as it comes.
Overseer, promise.
We'll take it as it comes, don't worry. I'm only here to help.
We'll see what happens. There's no word on it yet. It's gonna take time for the prince to.
I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened to the Turi guy in the desert.
That's not the place you want to try and lose me.
He's disappeared. I don't know what happened. We went to go find the bird.
Snatched by a giant bird.
All right.
Fake news.
Amir does have a heavy hand in like healing. They focus a lot on medicine and healing. So there's a lot of like what do you call it, like a poultice and like salves and like various things. So you're given one potion to each of you that is just a standard healing potion, and some various like salves and things that help like speed up healing for like minor cuts and bruises and things like that. You're given essentially a nice collection of goods to go out and carry out your task. But besides that, you're pretty much left to your own devices. So, with that being said, is there anything you guys would like to do while you are still in mod?
I did ask, can I see the table or whatever you were rolling on for the item properties?
Yeah, don't
that
worry
might
about
help me to have some more ideas.
Sure. It's not going to be done anytime soon. That's why.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying it doesn't really matter right now. And if you do want to know, it's in the handout I made a long time ago. Zeph Terran manual to all things mundane, magical, and masterwork.
I think I was the only person to ever use it.
Yeah. And it's these are examples. So just make up something is fine.
Yeah.
But use these to inspire you, and then think of whatever. But yeah,
Oh, cool. I never even looked at it. I never. This is a thing.
it is. You're welcome. So, anything else? No?
My mentor knows where I'm going, knows what I've been set out to do. I'm alright.
I haven't seen anything of my brother when we came back to mod, did I?
Nothing yet.
That's what you could have asked for.
I'll find him. I have other plans in the works, thank you very much.
I'm just saying you could have had an entire barony looking for him.
I'll find him. The little jade snake. Shut up, Dylan. I will.
Will you?
Ooh.
I might.
Ow.
I might repeat the process and try to leave the palace. I'd like to know if the bandits are still active. Like maybe they've been stealing from the merchants here, and I would like to know what they have and attack them. Like if they've been stealing weapons, if they've been stealing explosives, if they've been stealing. Do we already know that?
Yes. You know that literally anything that they come across, they're taking it. They don't care.
Oh, so
what
they're
it is.
desperate. Cool.
They are purposefully trying to disrupt as much trade to mod as possible.
They're not in it for the money.
Sounds like a smokescreen or something.
Some men just want to watch the world burn.
I've never met Kyrian, so I don't know him. You guys know?
I don't.
I mean, sure. About how long do you guys think we'll wait before we set out?
Not terribly long. It's when
I mean, like handful of days, maybe.
guys have, like you said, like up to a couple of days to provision yourselves, but we move beyond that. So last call. Is there anything people want to do that is important in mod before you go? Assuming all
nothing
basic
except following my
provisions.
party members.
Okay. Assuming anything that's a basic provision, you can just put it on.
Yeah.
No,
I'm
nothing,
good.
nothing I can think of.
Okay. Very good. 10-4.
So who was I
I
following?
do that, but I can't do it right now.
Who are you following?
Yeah, because if we were in the city for a few days, I mean, I'm used to traveling for work, so I was ready to go very quickly. So I'd like
I
to
don't know.
hang
Who
out.
did you follow?
Would Jasmine allow me to follow her around?
Jasmine was
Ugh,
gleaming information off of the nobles, which probably took the majority of the time. she asked about the poisons, which were prepared and set in their in your provisions. Yeah, and then perhaps
No, I'll allow it.
then perhaps the marketplace.
Teeth on edge, but
That's fine. And
he's so like I said, I like you, but I kind of want to choke him. I think there's a difference in disposition.
while tagging along, he remains quiet.
Okay.
Unless
That I can work
spoken
with.
to, he is observing. He
Like
wants to get to know his traveling companions.
Oh joy. Okay. Yeah, I'll allow it when I'm not doing, my personal business. If he gets too close while I'm like trying to get information, I'm like, back up.
Mhm.
Him to kind of follow me around. That's fine.
Artor just seems kind of disturbed by the attention.
I don't think Artur's hanging around. Is he?
Well, yeah, but if Tariq is ever around him and being super observant, Artor is just kind of like, what? Why am I interesting? Damn, he's just a dude. So
I'm sure, you spend time, practicing with your new battle axe to make sure it's weighted properly.
yeah.
And just oh, excellent form. Complimenting your skills.
So, y'all, let's go ahead and. So, where are you guys headed first?
I think we want to go to that village first. Taki?
It's Taki.
Taki is over here, and this is the last known location of the Black Talons.
Essentially, go there, see what we find on the way, and then if we don't pick up any leads, see what we can find in the village, and then backtrack if that's not lucrative.
That's fine. So, y'all go ahead and do what you gotta do. Everybody roll a d6, and we're gonna speed this up. So 1d6 is gonna represent a day, and then go ahead and move the flag, whatever force.
But the
basis.
twos.
So yep. So in that order: Jasmine, Tariq, Artur, and then Edmund. Go ahead and roll a d6. And you should be able to move the marker, the flag. Actually, you're on mod, so it starts from a mod. You move 4.
It's 16 to get there.
I was not looking at the map, so someone else has to do it. Because I have no idea where I am.
16.
Oh, you're not looking at the map?
I was looking at the Discord, but I was looking around.
It's all the way on the left side of the map.
Sakes. Okay.
I'll move one now. So 1.
No, moving 4. What I'm saying is it's summarizing the whole day. So
I know.
Yeah.
We just need,
Sure. 2.
Rick to roll then.
Scroll.
Yeah, Rick.
Boo!
Roll even.
I was gonna say, because,
Roll that 6. Alright, y'all.
then that's 16.
Yep. So in that order, whatever you gotta do, move it. Move it.
Yeah.
Can't we just place it on there?
So 1.
Somebody on my turn. Somebody can move forward.
3. I'm just moving it forward. Nobody else is doing it.
Fine.
Now we gotta go very, very far left.
It's fine. So he meant 16 paces if you're going here. That's
Yes.
what I was saying because people were saying they wanted to go to Taki first.
I thought the plan was, to hit it.
That's what I'm
because
saying.
it was the
like,
last-
Figure out what you guys want to do.
The plan was
No.
essentially the opposite.
Yeah, go to Taki first to see if there is any information that we
Yeah.
glean from them, checking to see about the bird stuff, and if there's any additional information that could save us from having to go all the way to those caverns again.
And if
Then-
we don't find anything lucrative to our cause, then we backtrack.
Oh,
Then
I was
we
gonna
head
say
back.
that feels
Then we head
like
I mean, because it's not going, because we're just going, just going down and then up, so it's not. Wait, where is time?
I guess we
all
might-
the way to the
Taki
left.
is all the way over here. That's what I'm saying.
Where? I can't. Oh, well, no.
Yeah.
Wait.
And
Really
and-
far
I
out.
thought it was a closer build. So no, yeah, no, it makes more sense to stop there first.
God damn it!
I thought it was
we literally talked about this. The Taki is further, and then you were like, "Oh, we should go to Taki."
Well, I couldn't look at the map. I don't know what part of I'm driving people didn't hear. Don't take my word for shit.
You're God damn it, Rick!
What the kind of plan
Everybody's
is
so
it?
confused.
Okay,
Also,
it's
the guy who
super
can't
far.
see anything. Let's get the guy who can't see anything. Make the plans. Come on, let's go.
And
So I guess, yeah.
Edmund's like our leader, so I'm looking to Edmund for advice. So and
Everybody
then
wait
go
for
to Taki.
Edmund. Edmund do everything.
Basically,
Edmund-
yeah.
That's it. Edmund transcends to a god. He DMs.
I am the. I am
In
the
my
DDEG
opinion-
now.
In my opinion, it might be better to go to Taki first. I know it's farther, but we might have to return with prisoners if we hit this hideout
Yeah.
first.
And also, in my opinion, I feel like going and dealing with this bird situation, whatever this fucking thing is, we probably want to go and handle that before we get caught up in the Black Talons stuff.
And if
I
it's a
feel
big friggin' bird, we can see that. We can just run back and be like, it's a bird. Have your armies deal with it.
But, like, if we were to encounter the Black Talons or be tracking them or something, it might make moving around more complicated, which would really suck to go across the entire map when we have an entire faction of people on our tails or something.
Or prisoners.
But like, it's
Sure.
a bird.
It might be
Yeah.
a bird. Yeah. Don't know what it is.
We don't know what it is. I'm expecting to go there and have to murder something, which is fun.
Like a bird.
Yes.
It might be a bird, but something monsters behind a wall.
It might be a plane.
But it might
Superman?
be Superman.
But
We
anyway,
always-
like, I feel like we should not get ourselves tangled up into this before we have our other job out of the way. Because the Black Talons, it's a big deal.
Yeah. So like that's the urgent one, right?
I don't know if it's the urgent
We're
one.
not on Final Fantasy VII time where the meteor's gonna
Yeah,
hang
he-
in the
he
sky forever.
specifically says if you can figure out what's going on in Taki, awesome. But like he wants the Black Talons dealt with.
Right.
Yeah. The
Which-
meteor doesn't
which we
hang
have-
in the sky forever.
That's true.
I mean, we gotta find them out of the way. So that's. So okay.
Good point.
I vote to go to Taki. As you know, I'll stick with that plan, even though I thought it was in a different place on the map. Seems like a good place to go and get information,
I also vote to go to Taki.
lady and gentlemen.
Go where the group goes.
That's not an answer.
Yeah.
If we're doing Taki, we're doing
Let's go
Taki.
to let's go to
No.
Birdland.
There's okay. Taki.
Let's go to Birdland.
Okay.
Bird
Awesome.
Village.
Birdland.
So, move 16 spaces towards, and then everybody go ahead and roll another d6. And if you want,
I'll
Edmund,
fucking do it.
Yeah,
if Edmund want, we can roll your d6, so you don't crash.
I
and
can
die.
roll it. Don't worry. If I crash and die, here scream.
Woo! Good counting.
I hope the screen is good because it's live streamed. It's like ah! And then like that's the
Well,
last
Wilhelm
the world
scream.
hears of Edmund.
Oh, these dice are
I'll
rigged.
be like, God damn it! Finally, about time. 28 years too late.
So we're rolling d6s again.
Yes.
Okay, I'm slow.
Is this town nearby? You guys want to duck in there real quick?
Take me down.
You mean this town?
Set my hair.
Do we
This
want
one?
to duck in there and see what we can see?
What town?
Just it looks like a random town in between point A and point B.
Town.
And ask if they've seen the Talons.
Talons or birds, anything.
Sounds. I would
it's-
like that.
It's in
Right.
the direction. I don't see why. Doesn't hurt.
Okay. So we are going to stop there. Excellent.
All right, 10-4.
Where are we, DM?
Everywhere and nowhere. As you walk into the town, all of existence.
The town with no name.
All of
The
existence.
town you didn't know we were going to.
Computer crashes, we all die. Roll new characters.
Indeed.
Dylan didn't know we were going here. He doesn't have a name.
The plan for being the bait was for us to encounter the bandits. We're not rolling encounters. I think it was counterintuitive.
Is that a pun?
Encounter.
That
Counterintuitive.
sounds like a pun.
Encounter intuitive. Nice.
Have a good night, folks.
Good old bird.
We here all week. Tip your waitress.
But it's
Nice.
As
Old.
Dylan rolls for the name and all the
Yep.
people and everything of this town.
Oh no.
Well, I mean,
No, I
if the
get it,
plan
I
is
get
to
it.
be bait,
So, the name of this town is Leeds.
You take four.
Boo!
oh, is it?
You take 4 steps in the wrong direction, in the direction the DM wasn't expecting, and you hear furious rolling. What is everything?
We're-
What's going on?
We're looking for leads.
Yes,
Uh,
we found them.
So, as you stumble upon the town of Leeds,
leads, if you will.
yeah, it's close to Mod and the Alhayat as it is. You can see this town is kind of dried up a little bit. I don't know how much you guys would actually know about Leeds. Tarek, you would probably know a little bit more about Leeds, but you know it's kind of like a trading town. It's more like a waypoint, like essentially a watering hole that at one point grew bigger and bigger until it was a town, you know, and it's actually Leeds.
Yes.
And anyway, as you stumble in, it seems like it's somewhat abandoned, and most of the people here that are still here are like old or weak. Pretty much people that don't feel like traveling.
those who've given up on life.
As we're kind of walking into the town, Artor just kind of turns to Edmund's like, I don't know why, but I find the name of this village amusing. It most seems like some kind of a joke. Can't explain it though.
It's a hunch you have.
I don't know if we're doing anything in particular here, or if we're just passing through.
This is a trade.
And
This is a trading town. I'm surprised to see how quiet it is.
well, with the trade being interrupted, it's not too surprising actually.
Yes, things have not been productive around these parts recently. Been very complicated, in fact.
Just another reason we need to stop the Black Thing pretty quickly, because this would be more widespread.
Thing to take, no activity. It's not what we're looking
Sure.
for. We should move on.
Does there seem to be like a central place where if there is anybody there, they're kind of like that middle of the road gas station. Has the two old guys sitting in front of the rocket chair. That type of
Same person.
situation.
I mean, there's various
Population
people.
7.
There's various people out and about doing things, but they're generally like leading livestock and whatever. It's much less of a town and community as it is like
It's an outpost.
Yeah, of an outpost. It's more like a bunch of hovels that have been kind of like built around this large watering hole. Essentially, like there's a well in the middle of the town, and most of the walls here, right, they're like half stone, or here is probably mostly like clay and things like that, and it's definitely more of an impoverished town anyway, but it seems like a lot of the buildings are deserted, and those that are left, like I said, are like generally older. It's not that every person is old, but the people that are not fit for travel for the most part, and people that aren't really willing or able to leave.
Okay. No, it's not what we're looking for. We should just go. It's not our business.
Yeah. Although I think we should find their leader.
Okay.
Slaughter him and move on.
It was a pun.
Kill the
but,
weak and move on.
Oh, a leader. Gotcha.
I'm off and throwing my own pun.
Dude.
The door.
Leader.
At the very least, we can restock our water supplies.
Let the animals drink at least. Nothing collapses on the way.
So as you drop a bucket or two, and you begin like breathing the animals and letting them drink and whatnot, you see an old man that comes up to you and, hello,
Old timer.
where are you from?
That is complicated question. I suppose you could say from mud.
And this is what I thought it must be. You don't see too many traders coming to Leeds anymore. And he eyes your very fancy and impactful wagon. You should be
Yes.
you should be careful if you haven't heard about the Talons.
Everyone alliance.
Robot noises.
Edric.
Oh wait, sorry.
We like basically heard static. It's like.
I got a few words,
love
but
it.
they were like drawn out.
Wait
I love
for
it.
it. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, good.
Sorry. Hit a bit of a dead patch.
And he's gone.
As soon as he starts talking in character, just gone.
He's a cyborg.
Wait for it.
Skyburb.
Edmund actually took a couple of levels into Artificer and is slowly becoming a Warforged.
I would do that. Is it too late?
That should totally be an Artificer subclass. Cyborg.
Oh,
Rick, try and talk.
he is.
Fine.
What?
Hey!
What's up?
Might be better.
Yeah.
Oh.
Sorry. I was watching my bars.
Anyway, whatever you said.
Downfall of driving in the middle of nowhere.
Old timer.
Yeah. Was I asked? Oh, ask them where do they usually strike?
Yes, these talons. What should we be looking for? Where exactly?
There we go.
Well,
Okay, I think I should be good.
okay. So you ask where they strike?
Yeah.
I have
so that we can avoid those areas.
I have. Well, from what I've heard, they have been all up and down this side of the Al Hayat. Do you have a map? I can show you.
I'm almost certain Edmund would have a map.
Yeah, you guys have a map. So, from what I hear, from one man who survived, they strike around here at Hawks Bend. And over in Raven's Hollow. Best to avoid there. I've also heard south, they were in the caverns, but I don't know. Not many come that way anymore. It's hard to say, but it has been so long without raid that it is hard to say. The last visitor we had to Leeds was, well, some days ago.
You all seem to be providing for yourselves, though. How do you get along? What are your trades?
Most in the trades have gone to the other villages north, but we're mostly surviving here. Not a lot of traders here, so much as clean water. We live a simple life here. Even simpler now that the trade has dried up.
There's another village, probably about 100 miles from here, known as Taki. Do you know of it?
I've heard that they have creatures there.
Yes, some strange happenings.
That is what I've heard, but no more. A man came through, probably 12 days ago, perhaps. It was, I don't know, several weeks ago anyway. He told me of them. He said there were many. They blocked out the sun, and all in the village, they would have to run and hide. Many who dared to leave the village, many were picked off. So they continued to hide, to bide their time, to go about their business when the birds are not out.
Thank you for the tales. We're looking to head that way, and we heard it might be dangerous.
But why? Why would you go?
I'm just trying to look at the wagon. There's a calling for us, goods and adventure. We're capable people.
Plus, we can take care of ourselves. Not afraid of a few birds.
And hopefully we can look into whatever is going on and try and save some lives.
Before my Discord dropped, I wanted to ask if he knew the man that lived from the Black Talon attack. Did he say how many? Did he know how many attacked them where they were? I asked that in character. Just essentially that. If he knew how many. Just to see if the formation sounds familiar from when we were attacked.
Yes, he said there were a handful of them. Probably, he could not tell if it was 6 or 8, but they killed all who tried to run, and any they could capture, they did.
Sounds like them, from what
He
I've
was
heard.
lucky enough to get away. Did not see him. From what he said, they were hiding on the sands. camouflaged.
Understood. Thank you. If there is anything that you'd like from our provisions, food or drink, feel free to.
Anything you could spare an old man and his wife
I'll,
would be most gracious.
I'll spare like if I can some dried food and some water, whatever my portions will be.
I mean, there's a well and it has clean water here, so that's probably all
Okay,
set.
but yeah,
But yeah, definitely
some
food.
food.
That's good. It's definitely welcome. He invites you guys to like stay at his home for the night, and we give you shelter.
Around what time is it when we get here?
This was on our last hex of movement, so
So we might as well stay then.
Yeah.
I would like to volunteer to sleep with the goods.
you swore.
All right. So be it.
I will also volunteer to stay with the goods.
Okay.
All right.
2 sets of eyes is better than one, but
I will also know. Just like half the party is just sleeping up the cart. You wanna
and then
come
goes to the
inside?
house.
Do you want to come
all-
inside?
They
Ludo's
all
never
say
asleep.
yes. Come, like we will accept your hospitality, and then every one of them bails out at the last minute.
Somebody
So-
comes out.
Just standing with an armful of dried meats and whatever, and he's just like, "What?"
He comes outside before going. Ben's like, anybody want to come in and sleep? Ludor's never asleep.
Well, I do not sleep, but
It would be wrong to leave my companion alone.
Guys, I'm gonna kill
that
him.
is a weird way to put that, but okay.
I'm gonna kill him. Alright, she's severely creeped out at this point, but
I'll enjoy the hospitality of
Also, over. I assume like he invites us in for like dinner and stuff. Thaddeus makes a comment that what this town is doing is very important. This town may have been hit hard, but the service you perform for your barony is vital. Lathander honors and treasures those who work the trade routes.
There is a sense of infrastructure and tradition here that you don't see everywhere. I can appreciate it.
There we go.
Lathander is a patron of all that travel the road.
And to that he nods. Many of these days are the Raven Queen, but well, no offense to her, but Lathander is my queen.
You might have to describe more of this Lathander to me sometime, Tariq.
And there's a smile that breaks out on his face.
I'm fascinated by the beliefs of others, considering mine are so extreme.
Ah, my friend. We have a long journey. We'll share many words on this travel. Don't you worry.
He smiles. Perhaps you will be reborn.
Doubtful, but knowledge is always appreciated. You can learn many lessons from things, even if you don't necessarily follow them. People, places, gods.
He nods.
There's lessons to be drawn from almost anything.
My friend, I will wake you to greet the dawn.
He smiles. And you as well.
Gods.
I never really asked, what is the cuisine like in Izalam?
Crap.
Crap. Yeah, they have. It's just
Over
it's
here?
literal
Probably not much.
feces. It's all
Yes.
feces. It's mostly like I think the milk and the other goods that come from the livestock are generally more important than the meat. They usually only kill off, if they're old, right? And they're not
Yeah.
producing in that regard. But a lot of the things that they make are like kind of like biscuits and hard cakes and things like that. There's a lot of cuisine like that, especially like in a village like this.
A lot of grain.
Yeah, a lot of kind of grainy like hard cakes and stuff, and like brothy kind of soups, things like that. For the most part, in like squalid villages, especially.
So not all that different than what Artor's used to. Considering Nordvinden is very kind of grain-heavy, very hardy lifestyle. If that makes any sense. Or at least from what I recall of it. Wasn't exactly glamorous.
Yeah, you could say that.
Cool. Just wanted to kind of get a picture of what we're eating and what the scenery is like.
Like I said, it's essentially like a glorified like watering hole here.
Yeah.
This was probably a pit stop along the way, and eventually it turned into a grouping of small hovels. It's not really a large town in the traditional sense.
Just kind of a couple structures on an oasis that people would meet at occasionally.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd
It
say
descended
oasis,
from
but
that.
yeah,
Well-
they made a well, and there's clean water, which is good enough
Yeah.
for a lot of people
Hey.
traveling. Okay. You guys take the rest. You can do whatever it is that you wish to do. Nobody bothers you. You attract quite a bit of attention from the other people, and you see like people are like making an excuse to like see what you guys are doing. Like, oh, they lead their livestock over a little bit closer, or they like walk by nonchalantly with like an armful of twigs and stuff, and they're like definitely eyeballing you guys heavy, like, what is going on over here?
Dylan, did you say they lead their livestock?
Oh.
Not.
The old man greeted us first.
Yeah, I will probably at some point in every campaign for the rest of my life have a town called Leeds.
Especially if the party uses the word in the session. We should find some leads. The next town needs to be called Leeds after that.
Yeah. All right.
My big problem is it seems like we're running into an ambush on one side and an ambush on the other, unless we go all the way around. How do you guys want to proceed? Because I'm looking at the map here.
Very, very ostentatiously, and hope that something finds us.
I mean, these aren't our things. We can lose them, but
What's
I
the
hate to be
problem?
taken by surprise.
What's the problem?
She's
Well,
She's basically saying she doesn't want to walk into an ambush, which is kind of what the current plan is. We're looking for an ambush.
True.
I'm just saying, there seems to be a spot of danger above and a spot of danger below.
I mean, it's not an ambush if you're expecting it.
Oh.
That's the point. We want to spring the trap, and we want to take 2 of them alive.
Right.
Want to torture, want to see the torture.
And he, so, just so you know, those markings are like a general, like, because I had to put them somewhere, but he just knows, like, from this general area, right? So he doesn't, it's not guaranteed that it's on that hex. It's just, like, from, like, this region, is what I've heard.
Also, I don't know why I did that in Edmund's voice. I meant that as as me.
Solid.
And I just did the accent. I'm like, wait, what? I had to think until afterwards that I'm like, why did I do that in the accent? That wasn't in character. But yes.
I guess my question is, which one do you guys want to go to first?
I mean, we don't need both of them.
Yeah, we can essentially just pass through the middle and see if something happens. Like, these are not exact locations. This is just the range.
Okay.
Well, they were like places that were mentioned. It was like Raven's Egg.
Hawks Peak.
It was Hawks Bend and
Hawks
Raven's
Peak.
Hollow.
Did you write that down?
I have a notebook.
Thank you.
I just remembered Hawks Peak. Was that what it was?
Hawks Bend.
Hawks Bend?
Yes.
I got Hawks right.
Half.
Hey,
Come off the top
Love
of my
me some
head.
hawks.
Hawks. We can go to the one that's closer down here.
Yeah.
We could just walk right through and see what happens.
And if a couple of people want to hide, I mean, I can scout it out first from the air. If it makes anybody feel better to see what I can see from the skies. I can fly. And if that gives a better sense of security, knowing where people are.
I mean, Archer does not really care about the sense of security thing. That's mostly on Jasmine.
That's on me.
Yes.
As far as Archer is concerned, it's not an ambush if you're expecting it.
Okay. Just something to think about.
You're all so skilled. There's nothing to fear.
Oh, it does not help. I don't know why. He gives me the heebie-jeebies.
That's
Her.
true.
He gives her the heebie-jeebies.
It's me. It's mostly
This is
It's
me.
Jerry.
true. It's
The,
mostly you.
the character's fine. It's the player.
How dare he like be nice and humble?
He doesn't expect that sort of thing.
Archer seems genuinely disturbed by your fascination with us. He's just he doesn't know how to react to it because it's so out of place to him.
It doesn't even go here.
Yeah, right?
I don't.
I think it's
Like
the genuineness.
Like to Archer, like, yeah, they're all amazing, but like nobody's ever said that to him. Like, it's weird.
yeah.
Your positivity is disturbing.
No, he's a great
Be
character,
positive
but
again.
from her perspective, it's very suspicious.
In a world
That's fine. Where people are nice.
where people are nice.
Like,
Not that.
like where Archer comes from, you're expected to be a warrior and you're expected to be good at your trade. So it's just for somebody to come like, oh, you're so skilled. I'm happy to have you around. It's just like, yeah.
What do you want from me, huh? You want to fight? What's up?
Hey, I'm walking here.
Kinda.
Jeez.
Your nose with a rubber hose.
Right. Shall we?
So yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah, let's
It's
I'm sorry, Jared. I adore you, but he's freaking me out.
that's fine.
secret
Also,
reveal.
who wanted to greet the sun? Who wanted to greet the dawn?
Absolutely fucking not.
Artur wanted to.
No, Artur said, "Hey, can you describe Lathander to me?" He did not. He did not tell you, "Hey, I'm now a convert of Lathander."
I said I'll wake you up to greet the dawn.
And he doesn't know what that means, really. So
It's
I
exactly
should
what
do it
says.
anyway.
sure, if you want to wake him up, you can go right ahead.
Yeah, so you get shaken awake.
Well,
And
what's
There's
It's
like
still dark.
the man is like, you know how like you get the old people that like never sleep. That is like this old man and his wife. So when you get up, they are up, and you can see they're already like moseying around the house, and they're collecting like this little bundle of kind of like some sort of herb, like sage or something. And they have like this little ramshackle like wooden bowl that they have in front of this window.
And the window is of course facing the east.
As the dawn comes and the sun crests just over, a beam of light hits like right through, like illuminating the bowl, and they have like a little carved symbol as well. And with that, he lights this little bundle, and he like says some prayers, him and his wife, and also greet the dawn.
And I turn to Artur. You may be far from home, but as long as you carry traditions with you, it's never gone.
most of my traditions are prayer or just talking to Floor, making sure that we're on similar terms and that I'm doing right by him. Which it might sound totally insane to you, the idea of talking to a god. Might sound weird to you, like literally having a conversation.
If your Thor listens, then I'm glad for you.
So creepy.
I don't know if I would say he listens. It's more like he tells me what to do when I do it, but I think we're on the same page.
I'm pleased.
Lovely little moment.
Yeah, we're friends.
Thanks.
And
Acquaintances.
because it's 11:32, and I don't want to get into anything that we have to interrupt later, as the dawn is greeted, the sands begin whipping up and as it pans out, and you see this like large, essentially the area map we're looking at now, with a few blips moving throughout this large kind of craggy scar, and then the screen turns black.
Oh no.
I was half expecting you to say just like a giant bird. No.
I thought it was a giant bird too.
A giant
wanted the bird.
herb.
5 chromatic dragons fly down from it.
Ooh, Nepu nya. We have somebody
What?
watching. Nepu nya.
Oh Jesus.
Nap, nap,
Well,
nap,
hey,
nap,
bro.
nap, 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 nap,
Hello, Nepu nya.
nap, 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 nap.
Well, yeah. All right, we'll see you. Have a nice night. Nepu nya.
Something.
I was communicating with the weeb in chat.